There we
So welcome for showing up to today, tonight, wherever we are, but we are going to reverse engineer this meeting. Typically we do announcements and give you the 411 for the month to come up, but I decided that it's best to have the team training so Kelly can get on with her
go.
day. But we are joined by President Olive Star, Kellie Sibley, and just so fortunate to have her here. Definitely got to know Kelly back in, I guess it was May when we were in Spain together, and just love the way that she runs her business and organized. And back in August in Key West, Kelly was having a conversation with Gretchen and I about the placement suite. And, there were some things that she had brought up with us or to us that Gretchen and I kind of were like, that's a really good perspective. And it's something actually, Kelly, that Gretchen and I have been talking about since August. And finally, we just said, okay, the placement suite, it's confusing as heck, especially if you're new, but it's something that you need to get a grip of to be able to move forward with your business. It's just too vital, especially as you grow, to help you grow your organization. So we reached out to Kelly to ask her to come on and talk to you guys a little bit, just kind of demystifying the whole placement suite and how to use it to empower your community and your network as far as growing your building team. And just, it might be that you have a sideline to you, but you're still going to be able to offer each other support. And so I won't continue talking. We'll let Kelly kind of take it away, unless Gretchen, you want to say something as well.
I just want to say that we've started to put this into place for you guys as a team. I do place everyone that signs up under me. I think that it's such a valuable tool, and it's not an expression of whether I think someone's going to be successful or not. I make the assumption that you all are going to be successful. So I want to place it to make even more successful teams. And I think this is a tool that is very valuable. Kelly's going to explain to you why. And we create these little power teams, and it's so fun. But yes, your business will be stalled at a certain point if you do not utilize this. This last month, as Jenna and I were making our placements at the end of the month, we were in the visual tree, and I saw that we have consultants under us that have 15 people across. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if that could have been made into 3 beautiful pods, it would have been so beneficial. So I think, having Kelly speak to this is going to be really valuable. We are working on trying to figure out a way to do actual training on it. Right now, Jen and I are happy to do it one-on-one with you. We just have to think out about the logistics. We can't screen record people's personal information in the back office. So that's the hiccup point for us. But take it away, Kelly.
Oh,
Thank you again.
well, thank you guys so much for that introduction and for having me on this. I'm excited to share about it, but it is a beast of a topic. And it is going to look a little bit differently for everybody, depending on your business, depending on the size of your team, and depending on your goals here. I will say people's goals change all the time though. So and we'll talk a little bit about that with, people who say that they are a discount buyer. And I guess as a just kind of blanket statement, utilizing the placement suite is optional. That is totally your choice. It is an aspect of our business and our compensation plan, and you can opt to not use it. And we'll talk about kind of the pros and cons. But I do think when you choose to use it, like Gretchen was saying, it carries on the spirit of generosity, and it gives that to different pockets of your organization. And that's a really, really positive thing for a lot of reasons. I think, maybe in the short term, you might make less money if you utilize it, but in the long term, you are creating stability within your organization. You're helping your team make more money. And if they can make more money, they are going to be so much more motivated and excited to keep going. And that's where that stability comes in as well. The other thing that I think is really important to note though, is it is not your responsibility to build anybody's business. Building somebody's business is their responsibility. And also, as Gretchen said, she places everybody in her organization. That is Gretchen's choice. We have leaders that are president Olive Stars who do not place people. They maybe placed very few and far between. So there's a lot of schools of thought. I'm sure I will say things that other leaders I respect so much will disagree with, and maybe they've done things differently. And so as you are growing in your business here, your thoughts on it may shift as well. But also just protect against ever slipping in the mindset of your uplines and your mentors owe you anything. It is also not their responsibility to build your business. And the second I have team members ask me for a placement and tell me how hard they've been working, I'm just like, oh, right? It's such like, so there's definitely some etiquette around it. Don't ever ask for a placement, and and then beyond that, to protect yourself in your headspace, don't ever expect one. You just have to, anyway, I think I've kind of said enough about that, but, okay, let's talk about some of the reasons to use it. Maybe first, I also will note, just kind of as a blanket statement, I think it is a bit of a risk sometimes. I have placed people deeper than I wish I would have that said they were only a discount buyer, and then they went on to build a giant business. And had I known that that was what was in their future, I probably would have placed differently. That being said, it's still a positive. There's always so many ways to look at things, and the people that they were placed under, it's been so positive for all of them. And that's the flip side, is they're earning more money because of that, and they are more excited and growing bigger and stronger. And I think I adopted this mindset at the very beginning, though. If I make less money at the end of the day, because I choose to place people, but my team is making more money and finding more success, I am okay with that. But I think what really happens is, in the long run, you end up being more successful yourself and making more money. So I think it comes down to like priorities a lot of times. But those discount buyers always have the potential to become a rock star. They fall in love with our products, and 60 days just is not a ton of time to figure that out. Maybe consultants sign on and they don't even open their box for the first 60 days sometimes. So just know that. And then sometimes you have this new recruit that you are so excited about that is promising the moon, and they are going to make 6 figures in a year, and then they flake out. And that is just the nature of this business. But I think the placement suite's a numbers game, and there's so much more to gain than lose. But just to say, it's not that, if you start utilizing it and playing with it, and your team is growing and your organization's growing, that you're not gonna be like, oh, I maybe made a mistake here, or wished I would have realized that there. Okay, so the reasons to use it, though, and why I think it's so amazing. First off, if you are building a team and anybody has overlapping social circles, to me, that's an automatic yes. A lot of times it's just the person who is there first is the one who's going to end up and absorb those overlapping people. But if a couple enroll around the same time, you just kind of use your best judgment. Generally, the person who is seeming to be the most excited, getting on the calls, being most coachable, is the person that'll look to kind of lead that newly forming social circle. Like, there's nothing worse, though, whenever you've got a couple people maybe at your kids' school or at church or wherever that are competing against each other for the same business. And that makes everybody uncomfortable, including the customer, including, people, and probably will lose out on other people signing up to be a consultant because they don't want to be made to feel awkward and have to choose somebody. But when you can bring cohesion there and have everybody working on the same team, it's such a win all the way around. And really, I I adopt that mindset when I'm thinking about recruiting and building my team. I think about my different social circles and the different pots I have. And I want one person kind of heading up that area. So that they can be working it and running it. And that's, one area I don't have to be working and running, you know what I mean? Okay, so that's one reason to use it. Another reason is the team growth bonus. Every month we've got the team growth bonus, which can be its own training topic, but you, depending on what your organization looks like, you can make $50 bonus, a $250 bonus, or a $1,500 bonus, and they all stack on top of each other. In the comp plan though, you can earn each of those bonuses depending on your title multiple times. So, that's another thing to weigh, but for let's say the $250 bonus, I think is where it comes into play a lot for most consultants, is you need 3 qualified consultants to each have 3 qualified consultants. And you might have 2 people in your placement suite that are qualified, and maybe you've got your 3 qualified and 2 of them have a couple qualified, but they're just missing 1. And they're people that are showing up, they're working their business, they are trying to stay consistent with this. That would be a really great placement, depending on who it is, to be able to place them there. Gretchen, do you want to chat or jump in, or just want to show the visual? I think this is a great visual.
I muted myself. I just figured good time to put a visual up since we're recording, because and just keep in mind, you guys, all of this was extremely overwhelming to me for a very long time. So don't feel like you need to know everything. We have the information for you. You'll learn it bit by bit. So no, you can keep talking.
Totally. And I love this visual that you guys have. Okay. The other thing though, that I think is, let's think, we already talked about how it helps create more stable legs, like more stability. In every single title of our compensation plan, every single title, I'll say past Olive Star, you need 3 legs. Even at President Olive Star, I only have to have 3 legs to maintain my title. And just personally, so you know about my business, I have 3 legs that I work with, and that's it. That's been my decision to build out 3. I know lots of leaders, maybe have, working towards 6 legs or 9 legs. And the reason is it creates width in your organization, but also you can take advantage of that team growth bonus a couple of times. But that's just kind of big picture. And but so you need your legs for your titles, but your legs are also going to need their legs for their titles when your business gets to a certain point. And so this placement suite can really help aid with that. Because it consolidates volume, right? And so let's just take the discount buyer as an example, which is most of the people that enroll with us. If you've got, 5 people wide, and they each do about $300 to $500 a month, that's great. But if you pull that volume together and it's under 1 leg, you could have a silver olive leg. And a lot of titles require a silver olive leg. So you will climb the ranks higher by utilizing this. Okay, and then one of the most beneficial reasons I think to using, and especially as your business grows, is that it can share the mentoring load, and it just helps create a cohesive team culture. Now, this is one of those things that people do it different ways. For me, I do not have any placements that are working the business or have ever worked the business. And when I say that, I mean people that would ever get on a call or want to be in our Telegram chat, because some people just aren't interested in that. Every single person that I have in a Telegram chat or that gets on calls that I have brought into this business and placed, they know about it. They know about it. Their mentor knows about it. I've placed them with people that I know are capable mentors and leaders. And it's never a question of, oh, I don't want them. I don't want to mess with this. It's just a matter of there's only one of me, right? And I feel pretty stretched thin a lot of the time. And so if I can share or help increase that new consultant's levels of support, then why wouldn't I do that? And so now, instead of them, they enrolled with me, they know me, just coming to me for questions, I've introduced them to one or two other leaders that they can also go to. And, you know, if somebody needs help making a post or setting up a social, or even as a lot of times, somebody may live closer to somebody else, and that's genius because they can actually go in person and help them do a glow workshop or something where I would be incapable of doing that. So there's a lot of reasons why sharing the mentoring load makes a lot of sense, particularly as your business grows. So before I make a placement, and if I figure out kind of what makes sense and what I think would be strategic, and who I kind of want them partnered with, I reach out to the person that I want to offer it to, and I kind of let them know what I'm looking at, why I think that would be beneficial to their organization, and then what the expectation is. And the expectation for me, it's not that they like, you need this much sales or you have to get on these calls. It's nothing like that, but it is that they get themselves qualified every month. And I'm only making a placement with people that I know are serious about working their business and earning a paycheck. And those are but if they want to take a month off, that's fine. But the deal is, if you want me to give somebody that I would otherwise be earning 10% of the CV on, and I'm going to gift you 10% of their CV or of their volume, that's a gift to their paycheck every single month. All I ask is that they get themselves qualified, because whenever we do look at that team growth bonus, even if it's not for me to get my bonus, but it's for one of the other mentors that are in their upline, you don't want to break in that chain. You need all those little gray guys checked off, right? So that's what I ask. And like, I don't know that I've ever had anybody say, no, I don't want to do that. But it gives me such a peace of mind to know that we had that conversation, because then the last week of the month, when I'm like, hey, what can I do to help you get qualified this month? They know, oh, I need to get qualified, or they know, let me just set up my auto ship or something like that. But that's just me. And then I also let them know, if a lot of times people will ask, well, how can I help? How do you want me to reach out to them? And depending on the person, if there's somebody who like isn't getting in a telegram, I'm just like, and I know they're just going to message me maybe 2-3 times a year, I'll say, don't even worry about it. You just enjoy the boost in your volume. And that's somebody that I wouldn't tell, because it would just create confusion, and there's no need to do that. But if it's somebody who's excited to work and grow and wants to plug in, then I start a 3-way text or a 4-way text, or depending on where, with the new consultant and whoever else is in that upline for them. And I'm just like, hey, Gretchen, I'm so excited that you've partnered with us. I wanted to loop you into a thread with, Jen and Annie, because they're additional levels of support for you. If I'm ever slow to get back or can't answer a question, they're here to step in and help you out, or, whatever. Mm-hmm. And, basically we kind of take it from there and try to get them to know each other a little bit. And then, if somebody's not used to mentoring or whatever, that's where I can step in and work with them. Hey, why don't you reach out to Gretchen and see how she's doing this week? And eventually it's just taken off a lot off of my plate. and it's helping that other person more because they're able to give more than I am.
Mhm.
Okay, what else?
I
Gretchen,
don't random, but I was like, what mascara do you use? Because every time you're looking down, I'm like, how are your lashes so long?
that's sweet. It's Soshi. Soshi, it's like in an orange tube. I got it at Creed Beauty. It's like a cleaner brand.
Well, it's working.
Oh, thanks.
Totally brought me off topic.
Um,
But I like what you were saying about, I mean, who could be upset about additional support, right? Because like you said, there is only one of you and it's just more relationships. This is where Jen and I are realizing, especially last month, how beneficial it has been for she and I to partner, to have someone to do this with and not be an island is so crucial. And sometimes that means like I started a chat with 8 people, and that sounds like a lot, but I know only a few of those are going to need a lot of support. And I know that leader can handle 8 people. And for others, I'm like, you know what? I think they would benefit with just one other person. So we are starting now to go down the list and also identify personalities that we think would work great together too. You know, as far as these people may be in the infancy of their business, but both of them are really wanting to collaborate and have meetings and bounce ideas off each other. So I think there's so many different ways you can do it. And like I mentioned in the chat, you guys won't see in the recording that I 100% agree with Kelly. We all have different ideas of what the placement suite's looking like. And for me, it continues to evolve as I learn new things. Like I laugh at the mistakes I made at the beginning. I laugh at the fact that I was like trying to boost someone up and maybe get them a different rank. And I'm like, why isn't it working? And then I realized I placed volume under someone who wasn't qualified.
yeah.
But I was so new to this, you know? So it's you learn things along the way. And I think it's those little lessons that Jen will be and I will be able to teach you along the way. Like, or I tried to rank advance 2 people in the same branch. And I was like, only one counts. Like these are things that we will teach you as we go, but the overall concept is important.
Right. And the other thing that pairs really well with giving the new consultant additional levels of support is you've also given them 1 or 2 other people that can help give them placements. And
Mhm.
so if you don't open up that communication of, hey, I've looped you with such and such, then when such and such is looking at her business and she's like, okay, I have a couple people, so and so that you place under me is really rocking and rolling. I'd love to place this person with them. If you place them and they have no idea that they're like, who is this? And why am I getting a team member from them? Right. And so it opens the door to be able to have their other mentors be feeding into their business as well.
Which I saw for the first time this past month when we created that one pot of 8. And the person contacted me and said, I have placements to make. And in my head, I was like, oh my God, it's been me this whole time placing all my volume different levels. And I was like,
Right. Right. I love that.
yes, yes, it's really fun to see because people get excited. It's exciting to help someone,
Oh,
you know?
it feels so good. And I think of these like placements, these new consultants as fuel. And
Mhm,
so they are fuel. And if you put fuel onto a fire, it's just going to help that fire burn brighter and burn longer. And it's
mhm.
really well used. But if you dump fuel on a pile of logs, like, or with a very little spark, it's going to be like
I've done that too, especially at the beginning when I'm like, I don't know all these people. It's random. And you know what, you guys, it still worked out. It's okay. I learned lessons.
yeah,
Randomly, someone takes off from that little not burning thing. You're like, whoa, where'd that come from?
I know.
So it all works out. I was panicked I was going to make wrong decisions and mistakes, and I have, and it's still fine.
Well, it's part of it, and that's how we learn, and that's how we can then mentor and help other people better. So,
Yes. And Jen made a very important distinction that with these placements, we don't want to make them between the 1st and the 10th of the month, you
correct.
guys, because it can mess up your previous month. So just to clarify, your rank, for example, from November is not going to be secure and final until the 10th of this month. And Jen and I are like, how about we just go with the 11th? Let's just not, you know.
Every month end, I always look and you gotta check the dates. Who is expiring before the 10th or the 11th, like you said?
Yeah,
Mhm.
if it's in their second month, definitely try to wait past the
Yeah.
10th.
And I oftentimes just do it in the first month, but we do it at the end of the month. So we do it before anything can be affected, you know? So it's important to pay attention to the dates, to the qualification, to the 60 days.
And it's interesting, you probably have good reason to place in the first 30 days, but a lot of people, it might make more sense to look
Wait.
at it after 45 days because you really, if your business is smaller
Yeah.
and, placing in the first 30 days or the first month, they have volume because they bought product. And that's
Mhm.
really nice to be able to place somebody that has volume. But oftentimes it's so soon to tell what they might do or
You can't, unless someone has a history with this type of business, you really can't tell. And I oftentimes do it for the volume aspect. So I think that's important to note too, is yes, you are gifting that 10%, but the volume remains yours. So it's not like you're going to take the volume and have it go down. It's still part of your overall volume. So don't think that that's going to go away when you move it because it's your whole organization. That's part of your volume. So just to clarify that. But yeah, that is why I would do it in the first month, is to have that volume go towards it. But yes, that's where the different theories come in. And for me, I've missed a few placements and I'm panicked I'm going to forget. So I just take care of it the first month and I just throw caution to the wind and go, what happens, happens.
I try to remind everybody when somebody new enrolls with you, go ahead and just pick up your phone and ask Siri to set a reminder for 45 days to
Yes. Great.
check and just make sure, because once they're missed, they're missed.
Then they're a little island all by themselves,
Yep,
but
yep.
contributing to your OV, but still not useful otherwise.
It's true. And it does them a disservice, honestly, depending on how you are working your organization, because, people want to be part of that community is so fun. And that's why so many of us love what we get to do. Um,
So we have a lot of people, either we'll have probably clients that become customers or consultants for the discount, right? So don't know if they're actually going to work the business, but typically always end up doing something because they love it and they want to share. Or we have family members and people are like, well, is it worth placing them? So what is you kind of answered this, but what is your kind of thought on this right away?
it's one of the aspects that I've reevaluated, honestly, as time has moved on. Like we said at the beginning, sometimes you just never know. But um, if they have no interest in building a business at all, like they're one of those people that they don't want to be in the Telegram, they don't want to be on the calls, you could keep them direct. And then you're getting 10% on their personal orders rather than 5. Or they may be great volume one month and you want to use that as a little burst of fuel for somebody else that feels really seen and really, it could make such a big difference for somebody whenever they get that and they get that message from you that you want to gift them with that.
Yeah, and I guess Gretchen and I don't mean to speak for you, Gretchen, but I think we kind of lean towards the same way with that and especially for me, right? Like I keep running into that third leg because I didn't move some people or I made some mismoves. And
So what's Jen's referring to is she has a third leg that hasn't caught up. So for her own rank advancements, she's like, gosh, I kind of wished I'd put that volume under there to help them, which helps me in turn,
right, be able to go, and especially on big months like Black Friday sales, right? And people that are just discounted will purchase. And so it'll help you. So do you think so if you're working the placement suite and you're building a business on this, do you feel like there's a certain rank where it's like, okay, now I can reevaluate that? Or because I feel like when you're down in olive star, green olive star, violet olive star, those legs are more like, I still need them, obviously black olive star, you still need those strong legs, and it becomes even more crucial because you can only take percentages from certain legs. But, like, I guess what I'm trying to purvey is, do you feel like when you're starting out, it's more crucial to have those movements so that volume helps lift everybody out to get the momentum going and to help with the advanced rankments versus just,
I do.
holding
I
on to
do.
it?
Definitely, I do. I think if you are really like, I want to do this, I want to make money, I want to hit title driven, which not everybody is, and that is okay. But it's so important to kind of consolidate that volume. However, I run into this a lot, and let me just say too, I would be very surprised if people are able to only have 3 legs once you hit a certain point, because you might build a volume and build a silver olive leg, and then they just lose traction. They start fading away. And then you have to ask yourself, at what point is it worth it to keep putting good after bad? And we're not talking about people being bad. It's their right to do that with their business. But just from a number strategic standpoint, if you get somebody that you're really excited about and is like asking you all the questions and very engaged, at some point you might say, okay, this leg's been kind of a bummer because they haven't been hitting, they haven't been bringing in new people. There's no new life to that leg. I'm going to start another one.
Right.
And you might start that other leg with this new excited person. But
Mhm.
it's really hard if the people that you're recruiting aren't excited and aren't super engaged to know, okay, well, they're not exactly who I think would want to head up a leg and have that in them. So, and then
Yeah,
know.
no,
somebody
it's
uses
hard.
one of your other legs.
One thing that Gretchen and I reminded each other, and I think you talked about it a little bit, Gretchen, is that if the people don't do what they need to qualify, then it just compresses back up to you anyway. So like, I had moved somebody that's level 3 to me. If the 2 people ahead of them are working their business, they took November off. So now she's level 1 and everything's because of the compression on our pay. So
You mean as far as counting for a leg?
mhm.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
no, in pay too, it compresses up.
Okay, but then next month, if she jumps in, if they
Yeah,
jump.
then
She's
they go
back.
down to 3. Yeah, so, I think to us, it kind of gave us a deep breath because like you said, we've talked to them about like, hey, you're leaving money on the table. You said you wanted to work this. We mentor them to make these purchases, get team growth
Or
bonus.
sales. Yeah. Yeah.
And for them to be making money right off the bat. But after about 6 months, if they're not doing this on their own, then it's like, okay, well, let that compress up to us because that's where we moved you, right? So I do think there's always the safety net of that, but I do get to that point where it's like, okay, how far do you want to build without building sideways too, when you get somebody else that's going to go?
Yeah. And the idea is you're building with people who are building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And at some point, it makes more sense for you to not keep pouring into those same legs because they are feeding those legs. And then you can start to build sideways. But having stability there is really important because with our comp plan at leadership levels, you get quarterly bonuses. And the quarterly bonus is a really big aspect to our comp plan. If you're wanting to keep promoting. And
They're significant. I mean, they range from, I want to say 2 to 6,000, right?
1,000 to 6,000.
1,000 to 6,000. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a nice little hit. Changing gears a little bit, I think something that I've been hearing a lot because, we all do a lot of, not everybody. I'm very Instagram focused. I've been hearing from people, I think I just want to do this like an affiliate, which cool. And we've all seen this happen where, look, people are going to sign up as consultants under you just to save the money, whether you're doing this as an affiliate or not. And I can count so many times where later on down the road, people are like, shoot, I should have listened and started placing these people because now I have 20 across and I've actually decided that now I want to do this as a business. And then they're starting from square one again. So I would encourage you to have a conversation with Jen and I. And even if you like only want to do this as affiliates, I'm more than happy to make placements for people, even if it's random. It's better than nothing in case you want to build this as a business later, because 20 across is not going to do you much versus, hey, we have 3 that have 6 under each of them or something like that. Bad math there, but you get the point. It at least is setting you up in case you decide later to change your mind, because we have a few big ones on our team. People sign up every month under them as consultants just to save the money.
And then I think it goes back to with Kelly's whole community aspect of it. Like, people are going to sign up for the discount, but then want to be working the business, but then they're just kind of left. Like Gretchen and I and Kelly, I'm sure you feel it too, where people are like, hey, I signed up with this influencer. Can I switch teams because you're actually providing the support in the community? And you can't. If they're within your organization, at least you can absorb them and help them. But at the same time, you still just, I don't know. I like the whole lifting you up. Like, if everybody is being successful, that's a pretty fun place to be, right? And so for me, I don't want to be up here unless everybody else is coming with me. And I think that's what really attracts a lot of people to Olive Tree people, because of this placement suite, even though none of us really knew anything about it when we got here, right? And now we're understanding, like, hey, it is, and I think Kelly did a good job right at the beginning. It carries on the spirit of generosity, which I absolutely love, because it really does help incorporate that. And so
the abundance mindset is the way I like to look at things. Honestly, when you hold on to things so tightly, it doesn't grow in the same way. If you trust that the abundance is there and you share it, it's incredible how much more comes. But again, you are not required to do this. None of us will ever make you do it. What I want to make you do is learn, empower yourself, have the information. Same way I am with medical freedom, y'all. You do you want to use a microwave? I don't care. It's not for me. You want to do XYZ? Sweet. Just be educated and informed, Same thing with this. I mean, weird analogies for the placement suite, but you get my point. You're never going to get pressured from us to do it. I'm going to pressure you to learn that it exists beyond nothing.
Does anybody have any questions for Kelly? I want to be a little bit mindful of her time. I didn't realize how much.
But if you have any questions, you can totally unmute. This is obviously a small, intimate group here where we can just chat. But I mean, I feel like we went over a lot of stuff too, but I know what you're wondering.
A lot to digest. And it's going to look different for each one of you, depending on where your organization is at the time.
Yeah. And it's funny because I kept writing questions and then your next sentence went through it. So I'm like, all right, don't need to ask that. So very, very well thought out. And we appreciate you, Kelly, for coming on in such short notice to share knowledge and just your philosophy. Like we said, we really gravitate towards that community building. And so we appreciated you sharing that with us in Key West, because you didn't need to, and to take the time today. So thank you.
Yes.
I love it. And y'all have, the same. Gretchen sharing the other night on the Synergy call, I thought everything you shared was so just helpful and awesome. And I think that really does sets us apart. And we all have the choice of, do we want to have that abundance mindset or take for yourself? Because I just think the former is the way to go.
Yeah. It's more fulfilling.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Reach out anytime if you have questions or whatever.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks, Kelly.
Kelly.
Yeah. You guys, we're not hanging up yet because I'm sure Jen has announcements. She just had a meeting with Danielle before, so we can chat about things.
Wow, I didn't realize that was 45 minutes. So, and I know we
I
chatted.
didn't either. I like her so much. She's so wonderful.
Yeah, so she was a lot of fun to get to know. And you know, that's a fun part of this. I was bummed that I wasn't gonna be in Spain with Gretchen at the same time, but we got to go and meet other people
Yeah,
and
we got to meet different people and form relationships, which then benefits all of us. But I do want to bring up, like you said before, we did want to talk about, I don't have the list, but November promotions I think are fun to go over as a team and have you guys see, those of you who especially aren't on Instagram, but maybe watch this here. I just want to shout out everyone. Kate Kroll hit Gold Olive Star with an OV of $100,284. Insane, right? We had Brennan Lau hit, and these are rank advancements. These are people hitting this for the first time. So those of you that are hitting these repeatedly, so impressive, so impressive. But we shout out the advancements. So Brennan Lau hit Silver Olive Star for the first time with 56, and these may not be exactly right because last few hours of the night, right? Over $56,000. We had Tanya Welsh hit Violet Olive Star with over $30,000. Janine Chasko hit Olive Star with 11,000 plus. And then we had Rita hit Black Olive with 5,300 plus. Katie Jackson hit Olive Star with 14,000 plus. Then we had Kelly Janelli hit Olive Star with over 10,000. Sometimes we don't get the pictures from people. So Megan Guzman hit Gold Olive with 4,062. Tracy Brooks, Black Olive with 6,024. Erin Hannon, Black Olive with 6,233. This was before she hit multiple. So, and then Dana Marsh, Black Olive, 5,869. Judy Marziale, Gold Olive, almost 5,000. Megan Nix, Gold Olive, 3,400. Jamie Burles, Green Olive, 538. Ellen Frank, Green Olive, 539. Justine Folker, Green Olive, 514. A lot of no pictures. Colleen Edwards, Green Olive, 954. Kimberly Tyler, Green Olive, 511. Leslie McHugh, Green Olive, 520. Leslie Eason, Green Olive, 726. Samantha Abraham, Green Olive, 590. Larissa Marcoux, Violet Olive, 1287. Christina Rutuznik, Violet Olive, 1,231. I only know how to say her last name because she's one of my good friends. Juliette Hoban, Violet Olive with 1,583. Christy Pearson, Violet Olive with 1,101. Alicia Zambrana, Violet Olive, 1,159. Jamie Teagues, holy cow, you guys. The list just keeps coming. 690. Julie Schramm, 728. Jody King, Violet Olive with 1,236. Cheryl Overweg, Violet Olive with 661. I didn't see how many of these there were, but this is impressing me. Heather Alexander, Violet Olive with 1,027. And Jody McLeod, Green Olive, 562. Marissa Ritchie, Green Olive, 871. Julie Haybash, Silver Olive, wow, I can't talk, 2,309. Laura DeMarty, Violet Olive, 1,307. A list probably would be more efficient going forward because this is so impressive. Lauren Peller, Violet Olive, 1,746. Elizabeth Dawson, Green Olive, 780. Jennifer Merrick, Silver Olive, 2,567. I don't want to stop now because, you know.
You're 41 out of 42. So keep going.
Oh, woo! I didn't see the numbers, but not that I want them to end because I think it's wonderful. Stephanie Game with Black Olive, 6,056. Nicole Bailey, Black Olive, 5,791. So
Awesome.
super duper impressed with you
And I
guys.
have a couple to add from the other.
Yes, you can
page.
share your
So-
screen if you want to.
Yeah,
or
no,
you
I
can-
didn't I just made a list. So we have Shelly Rassenpass and Holly Tristan that made Green Olive Star for the first time, and then Tanya Schultz for Black Olive, which is super exciting. And you know, I think it's really awesome. Obviously, November was amazing, but I do want to note that a lot of the rank advancements were from placements that were made prior to November, even within your own smaller organizations. And so if that's exciting for you and some of the bonuses that come along, like Black Olive, you get $100 if you hold every month for 3 months, if you consecutively get it, but you get $100 this month. Olive Star, you get $250 this month plus the $100 if it's your first time hitting it. So that's $350 that you earned as a bonus, right? So super exciting. And honestly, like, cannot thank you guys enough for working your business and sharing authentically like you do. I think it really is truly what makes this team stand alone. Not alone, but apart from the rest. And then obviously Gretchen, we have to shout her out. She got Black Olive Star and then Executive Olive Star, which is
And you, Black Olive Star, my lady. Yeah.
yes, yes. It was fun. And I was just very fortunate that I was able to share it at the same time as Gretchen. It was fun that we got Black Olive Star on the same day. That was
Same
Yeah.
day. So fun. Yep.
very special. Okay, so lots to go over, but I'll try to be super fast. So the notes that I made, making sure I'm on the right spot. Olive Rose, how's that going for everybody? How are you feeling about Olive Rose? The fact that it launched, any comments about Olive Rose? What you guys have?
I changed my view so I can actually see more people. Has everybody tried it? Not everybody? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I have it on right now.
Yeah, I put it on and then I don't put it on. And I mentioned to Danielle and Gretchen and I talked about it too. It's hard. Right after our crazy 2.5 weeks, I was sale fatigued. I honestly
Oh,
did not
burnt out.
on social media. I'm like, done. Let me breathe and then I'm ready, right? But we will get there. Like, people are going to be getting excited again, and once they get their next paycheck, they're going to be like, okay, now that Olive Rose. So there's some good suggestions that some people had shared, like doing lives, makeup lives. I think Gretchen did one.
You
Kristen.
guys, it does not have to be complicated. I literally turned my screen on as I was like, I've got 5 minutes to get out the door. Let's see what happens. Did a live and then posted it, because you can take a screenshot at the beginning, at the end, just to show the difference that 5 minutes. And by the way, in that 5 minutes, I also washed my face and put my skincare on. So
Yeah, no, I think it's so much. I'm just noticing how red my face is right now too. I
you're
tried
just
some.
worked up.
I'm
That's all.
like, okay. But one great suggestion about that is do half your face and then leave the other half undone. So people, and like freeze there before you do the other half so people can see, wow, that really is flawless. Like, it's really nice. And then
And also you can show the different applications. It looks different on your face. Like, for example, today I used a brush because I wanted to play around and see what does it look like when I brush it on, because I typically am someone that likes to use my hands, and you get a little bit more coverage that way too. And you can use your hands and do 2 layers and get more coverage too.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to do it and play around with it.
ways for sure. A suggestion to try to increase sales for Olive Rose is for every customer who orders Olive Rose from you, you can do raffle off, a skincare product. I'm going to raffle off a holiday set to try to help promote them getting into selling the Olive Rose. You could do Danielle showed us this really cool brush. It's like a brush on one side, like bigger brush where you could do all over. And then it's a smaller brush. It's called a Skin Bay brush. She said it was
Babe.
Bay, B-A-E.
Oh, I guess. I mean, that's another word for babe, right? Hey, babe.
Yeah, no, it's the exact same. So, but she said that brush was good, but I was thinking like that would be nice for everybody that purchased an Olive Rose in December. You'll send them one of those, like just something to up the ante a little bit, or just rally in. But those were some ideas. Most common shades that Ashley, one of our sidelines, who's Black Olive Star now, they hosted a big event. Actually, Gretchen, probably just up the road from you, with all their consultants, and then just like anybody that wanted to come. And Ashley was putting Olive Rose on people all night long. And she said that they probably had about 50 or so people filter through. And the most common shades were all the uneven numbers. So like 3, 5, 7, and 9. But she found that the even shades were more of a warmer tone, which it was interesting. I mean, it's factual, but it was interesting that more people had cooler tones, which I thought was different than what I've been hearing. So, but hands down, I think 4, 5, 6, and 7 have been kind of like the mainstay shades that people have been utilizing. 1 and 2 have been amazing for highlighting. And it doesn't matter between the two of them, both of them, whatever was available looked awesome. Danielle had one on around her eyes and it looked really nice. And then for bronzer, she was using 12 and 13 and said it was great. So,
I've seen people doing the 12.8 too.
yeah. And you know, that to me is really dark, I think,
Sure.
but it blends, and that's forgiving, right? It's so forgiving with that. But so that's Olive Rose.
By the way, this Skin Bay thing is not like a $5 brush.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, hold on. I looked online and like here the actual Skin Bay is like on sale from $40 down to $29, but I see Amazon versions for like $8.
Okay. All right.
It's
Yeah.
probably not technically a Skin Bay, but it looks exactly the same.
And they all fall out anyways, eventually when you get there. Okay. Not sure if you guys are getting any pushback on the ingredients and the Olive Rose products. You know, I feel like we kind of went through it. Anytime there's a splurge in new consultants, people question
Well,
olive
and
tree.
a new product. So there definitely have been, and I think it's important for us to talk about and to know in boards under ingredients, we have those talked about. So if someone brings them up, I mean, here's the thing is I now a year in, look, there's very rare in my life that I like implicitly trust something. And I have just gone to corporate time and time again. What's up with this ingredient? What's up with this? And every single time the answer has been, it's the natural version. It's the non-synthetic. It's the this. So I have a trust because of that. And I know his just theory on everything having to do with health and what to put on the body. He's not going to all of a sudden be like, I'm going to cut costs and go synthetic. But
Right.
also there are certain ingredients that those who came from Beauty Counter, which I think is amazing, right? Have learned to not trust, but they didn't realize when they came here that that ingredient shouldn't be trusted when it's in an eyeshadow or a powder form where you could actually inhale it. And that's where the danger is. It's a different situation to use the natural form of that ingredient as a topical. So that was explained very well, actually, by, how am I forgetting her name? She's one of the top people in Black Olive Store who came from Beauty Counter, who she was just writing about the ingredients. Kate Criswell?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So she was talking about that because obviously one of the top people at Beauty Counter, she's like, I know this ingredient implicitly. And she was talking about how, I just used that word twice. That's funny. Intimately was the word I was looking for. And she was explaining in our Black Olive Store chat, which I put in our boards for that ingredient. Look, guys, it's not a worry when it's a topical non-synthetic ingredient. It's a worry when it's something that can be aspirated because it's bad for the lungs. So
And so just so you know, playing off of that, when it's in an app like EWG or Yucca, however you say it, it just highlights that ingredient, but not how it's being used in your ingredient. It doesn't tell the difference if it's synthetic or natural. So that's not always like it's a good
and the application, like I said, it doesn't tell the difference between something that can be aspirated or put on the skin. And also, I mean, I know Andrea who created Switch Natural, and we've talked several times about Olivetics. I'm like, look, your app is flagging some of these things that are safe. Can you put a caveat in there, for example, for aroma or fragrance? Because EU standards are different. So when that shows up in a US product, yes, it's a problem and it's endocrine disrupting. Possibly. There's still some clean ones that it's not, right? And so we've talked about her potentially putting a caveat of like, hey, if this is Oliveta or a EU, it could be this. But like even I think it's phenoethanol or phenozenoethanol. I can't remember the exact word, but it's the ingredient that comes from green tea extract also. There's a synthetic version that's dangerous. Then there's a version that comes from green tea extract, so things to keep in mind. The Yucca app is going to flag some of our products, and it is because they do not have those distinctions in there between whether it's synthetic or not, or, oh yeah. So, oh, it's cause I have it in,
No, it auto-corrected. So the
yeah, it's
Cosmo
like, it's not cosmic, it's Cosmile, yeah.
really good resource and they do extensive research. So the EU, I learned today that they actually research and investigate ingredients yearly to see if they need to be stricter or if it's still showing safe at certain levels and
Thank
blend.
God, because EWG, I literally hate that app. I feel like they never update it. That's why I like Switch Natural, because EWG is like product driven, like this brand, this product. And I'm like, unless you guys have put the new one in there, it's just not accurate. That's why I like the actual ingredient scanners, because we all know ingredients change, especially those of us that are practitioners. You've got foods that where you're tried and true and you love to send people to, and then like look at malt, where I'm like, well, that's not the same anymore. It's still not that awful, but it's not sprouted almonds. It's now almond butter with water. Like it's just
Yeah.
things change all the time. So to be able to scan actual ingredients is key.
So I think definitely just if something comes up like you've been doing, just ask in the chat, check the boards. We probably already have an answer for it. And then have them go to that website, the Cozumel Europe, and look up ingredients because I think it's great, right? Like some people will say, oh man, this person's asking so many questions. Awesome. They're interested in the product. They just need to be educated. And it always comes down to we are manufactured in Europe. And
Yes.
we have different standards. And here, let me tell you this. We have different standards. We can go into Canada because we meet Canadian standards, which are stricter than the US standards without changing any formulas. This was not the case with other brands in the past, and some newer brands can't do that either seamlessly. We can. So I do think that's super important to know.
Yeah, and I want to show you where to find this in boards. If you guys have not joined our boards yet, at the very top of our Telegram chat, you're going to find all of this in your onboarding email, but at the top of our Telegram chat is pinned, basically start with this message, and you're going to see links in there. Join our boards. When you go to our boards, if you scroll down to ingredient questions, you're going to see things put in alphabetical order. So I'm trying to think of what the ingredient was that we were all talking about. One of them was the Spino Z-ethanol that I was talking about, but what was the other one that was just in conversation about olive rose? My brain is going crazy.
I thought it was that one, the poly.
That, no, it'll come up, but it's in here regardless. You're going to find it in here. It might be no, it's not.
Oh, I also put it in olive rose, I think, like in the actual
Yeah.
product.
But what she was talking about is CoSmile, and that's what you're going to find here. You're going to find a link to CoSmile Europe, and you can play around with that. But I'll go and look in product pics and info, olive rose. She said she put it in here. Oh, retinol palmitate. No, it wasn't that one. Sorry.
Titanium
Titanium
dioxide.
dioxide, which is in there. And this has, for example, this is, an explanation, but then there's that. And then, more information in there that you can provide with people. I thought I put what Kate Criswell had said, because it was so, oh, you know what? I think I made it more robust, in the ingredients one. I know things exist in a couple of different folders, but I know I made it more robust somewhere because I remember doing it. So yes, this is basically like some more information on it here and that there. So there's a few different responses there, just cracks me up. Basically, she's like, you can look at your toothpaste because it's in there. And that's because we're not talking about something that you're going to inhale and stuff. So yes, you can find different resources there in boards.
Awesome. Okay. And December, right? December is always kind of like after November. And it was the same way last
December
year.
is always after November.
It always shows up that way. I don't know why. Yes.
Sorry, I'm such a brat.
No, my brain capacity isn't where it's at. Anyway, but with that being said, right? Business tripled from November to December, basically. And if you look at anybody that's been working the business religiously for the last year, their business is tripled. Even Mignon, before Black Friday hit, told people last year her business tripled. So
Yeah.
it's pretty evident that you could say, okay, your business will triple in November. Pretty much double, triple, I mean, or stay the same, who knows, right? But December is usually a letdown, and just frankly, because it's harder to get the volume. We don't have 2.5 weeks of sales or 2 weeks of
But
sales.
we had a skincare launch and that's
But
exciting.
yeah, we have skin tint, definitely, and the sales are still there. And I think it's just reframing, right? Because
I
people
just
feel
said
like,
skincare. Sorry, I meant makeup.
I know I got you.
My
I said
brain.
content. But we still have so much to offer customers and new consultants, right? People are looking for something to launch into in the new year. And this week is really good, next week is really good. Then it'll get crazy with the
It is
holidays.
not.
And then the last week, there's really nothing going on. People find themselves really bored. And, that's a great time for glow workshops and drop off boxes and so forth. But, just some things to think about to help you jump into December more is those holiday curated boxes. You can still curate boxes, reach out to friends that have to gift for businesses, husbands, wives of people
And
that
don't forget gift cards.
Mhm.
It's so easy. Like, I mean, Amanda was ordering the gift cards for those of you that earned them today, and literally comes to you in a second, and you can print out, they have this pretty thing you can print out and put in a box. And for a lot of husbands who are like, I mean, I worked at Nordstrom for years. What size is your wife? She thought your size. I'm like, for every guy that came in and said that, I was like, they're not all my size. Like, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Gift cards are good, and then they can connect their wife with you after the holidays,
Mhm. And maybe they want a little bit more. You could do a curated box. Pretty much, we know either the 009 or the F71 corrective cleansing gel. Those are probably two pretty good choices for most people. You could get them F59 and an 008 moisturizer, 005 moisturizer, and
All
pretty
of
much
the like
everybody's
ugly
going to have
dope things
success
are
with that.
safe for everyone,
Mhm.
Other
Yep.
than I kind of
Lip
steer away
balm.
from a little bit the 004, but that's only
Mhm.
because I don't have as much experience with that. But I think everything that's in like that enrollment set, pretty much everything that's not 004, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think though, just giving them an option and then throwing in some other things. There's the video that Danielle and Victoria had done. So go take a look at that. You could do make and take parties still. But you want to get those order forms prior to the party. So your party would be in 2 weeks potentially, and make sure that you get the products in and then you have it set up so people actually make their boxes. They talk about it in the training. So take a look at that. We talked about Olive Rose. There's one last thing I'm going to come back to. Our current sales all the time. This used to be a flash promo, free shipping between da 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 da. We have free shipping all the time, $50 and above, which essentially is all our products. So remember, you can promote that, the free shipping, the skincare quiz to get the free product, free gift with two, and
Yeah.
use the cheat sheet if you're not seeing the actual products. LA Dope's not included in that as of right now, but you can find two products that are going to help the individual, and then they can have that free product.
You know what? I actually want to go into boards again because I feel like we have a good recording here where we've gone over some visuals. So I want to show you guys also the tool that you can use with the quiz, especially if you're new and you don't know the products. So if you go into, and we don't have to spend too much time on it because you'll know where to go and watch videos about it later. So if you go down to quiz results, first of all, you're going to want to go follow those first 5 videos in the onboarding. You're going to want to turn on your notifications so you see when a quiz comes in, but then go to that quiz results, go to quiz results project. In here is an interpretation page that you will personalize by watching video 1 and 2. It's going to walk you through how to make your own version of this. And then there's an email already written that you basically cut and paste, and you put your links here and you change this out to your information. And then that's all you have to do. You don't have to know the products to start because they're going to be able to walk themselves through their own quiz results and they will all make sense when you go in there, but join boards and go to there.
Awesome. Okay. And then we always have the 365-day money back guarantee, right? So definitely take advantage of that. One thing to start thinking about, and we might do this in a wider team first, but I think here we have a special group of practitioners that it might be really fun to do. Is do a 30-day monthly challenge starting in January. I was thinking something like talking about just your microbiome health, and we incorporate items that will help that. So IO1 and then the oil pulling is the first two things that I think of. And so everybody that's part of this challenge for 30 days will have to purchase those ahead of time. So then they got to purchase in December to participate in January. And every day, one of us drops in some sort of education. We can share a Google Doc, but I think we have an advantage compared to other teams when we talk about stuff like this, right? We have people that follow us specifically for health advice. If you're not a practitioner, you can still jump
You can
on
still
board and
participate.
help
You have
us
the
and
benefit of,
participate. I'm
yes.
not knocking anybody's knowledge, but I do feel like there's an extra level that we can provide compared as a community compared to other communities. And I don't know, I just wanted to throw that out there. We could also do like a caffeine reset where people decrease the amount of caffeine they drink and they're having olive mush and our beauty matcha, even though matcha has some caffeine, but it's different than a typical, huh?
Ours doesn't.
The beauty one does. It
Does
has
it
some,
have to be in it?
it has some green
I think I
matcha.
was thinking about the pure
Yeah, the
tea.
pure matcha doesn't,
Yeah.
but I like the other one. It tastes really good. But I was just thinking like something like that might be really good as a group to be able to do that. I don't know how we want to collaborate on that, but if somebody wants to take the lead on that, and then we can kind of facilitate maybe a
It
group.
could be as simple as like an Instagram group. Brennan and I last year did at the beginning of the year, a 21-day reset for people. And it was basically once they purchased certain items, they were permitted into the group.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And you had moderators of the group.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, for sure, for sure. But just as us trying to organize to figure out to do that, but it is something I think I want to do because then I think it gives us focus in January of something to talk about daily on our stories. And it's also products that they're going to have to reorder monthly. So if people love it and see a difference, they're going to keep ordering it, which helps the longevity of our businesses when we're thinking to expand. So and then we can build upon it and be like, well, our largest organ is our skin. Here's some skincare, so I think it's
And
definitely
mindset. What about the meditation
the
app?
meditation. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's very underutilized as far
Mhm,
as the sound bath and the meditation.
mhm.
I do wish it was less expensive.
I was thinking we could on the down low, don't tell anybody, but we could do like a recording for like 2 minutes of like, hey, this is to help your focus. It's kind of like a sample of the meditation, right?
Well,
And
there
we
are samples. You can get some of the sound bath on there for free, on the
oh,
website.
yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mhm.
don't think
Yeah,
that's
from the tree and stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know. So that was just thinking out loud. Danielle had done the mouth oil pulling and she's like, this is what I would do different to make it better. And then it kind of got me thinking again that like, I think this group is really special that we could do something a little bit more
like
involved.
that. Yeah. And those of you guys, if you get questions about the differences between the mouth pulling oils, I don't know the freaking differences between that and the other. I think it's like flavor and taste. I know one of them says like the microbiome cure. I'm like, they don't
One,
look like
one
different
it's in a
ingredients.
glass bottle. That's it. Yeah. And I think it's also a great touch point for your customers, right? You're communicating with them about something different versus just, hey, this is the skincare.
Mhm.
And then on that note, communicating with customers, we are getting into the thick of the winter season, right? Our skin is changing
Oh,
because
yeah.
now it's so cold, it's so dry. And so you need to check in with them if they're using, like Gretchen mentioned, the O3, all of a sudden wasn't moisturizing enough
Used
that
FO8 last week. And
Mhm.
you know what? Everything outside is frozen right now. So
Yeah.
I mean, the timing was right. I was like, why am I so dry?
Right.
All I
So
had to
make
do
sure
was
you're
add in
checking.
so we can talk about the seasonal things. So I had to add in the vegan hyaluronic, just like 2 drops in the morning and the evening, or even just once a day, and then the F08, and world of difference.
Right. So much better.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I had. We got through a lot. This was a marathon.
It was a little longer than usual, but I mean, any questions or anything you guys want to talk about or have any question? I should send questions twice.
I do have a question. It's not about what you guys were talking about. I have a consultant that forgot her password. And so she was trying to order at the end of the month. Like I'd been encouraging her, like, remember, like email them. And then of course, like 10 o'clock on, maybe it was the very beginning of the month. I think it was on Monday or Sunday, 10 o'clock on Monday, Sunday. She's trying to find her password and they actually
On a weekend on the last day of the month.
Right. It was, but like they actually emailed it right away. But I think it was her customer password because she couldn't get into the back office with it because she used to be a customer and now she's a consultant. And so then
why do you need to get in the back office to order?
she needed to get in the back office to order. She did as a consultant, right? We have to go through the back office to order as a consultant.
I go to the website. You
Oh,
just
do
have to
you?
log in on the website. I log in on the website.
Just got to
I
log
asked
in.
her just on the website.
Mhm.
Okay. Maybe I'll have her try it again because she's emailed him twice now.
So
Again.
I would go do the customer service live chat.
Oh, the live chat. Okay.
That gets a lot of response quickly.
But also on
Okay.
the website, you can reset your password yourself. You
Okay.
just
Once she
do it
gets
by yourself.
in there.
Yeah, you can't do it yourself on the back office, but you can go to the login page of the regular website and reset your password. I always encourage people, of course, I mean, do what you will, because I don't want anybody blaming me, but I think it can be a lot easier to just have your password be the same between them.
Yeah. So how does she figure out
different.
her back office? And
How does
how does she figure out her back office? She's still gonna have to do the live chat.
The problem is that people encounter is that on the website, you log in with your registered email and your password, whereas in the back office, you register with it's your login
Yeah.
and password.
Right.
So it's usually I believe it's whatever's at the end of your website. So like the
Yeah,
end
so
of my website says Gretchen Saying, so my login is
Yeah.
Gretchen Saying.
So she knows that's her username. She just doesn't know the password. She still has to sign up for Pay Quicker and all that. So just have her try to do the live chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and then once you're on your website, I actually just learned this because another consultant's like, I never go through the back office to log in. I'm like,
Yeah, you can at the
what are
bottom.
you talking about? So you can actually log in. Let's see if it'll pull me up. So here, see, I'm already logged in.
Yeah.
Scroll.
Back office.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then it pulls up the back office. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I'll have her.
It knows you're a consultant based on your email.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just learned that recently too, that was even there.
Okay. Hopefully I'll see her in a few minutes when I pick up the kids. And if not, then I'll let her know.
Fine. Getting business done.
Yeah. she's always getting business done. She's a really busy realtor here. And they're moving right now too. So I was like, oh my gosh. So trying to figure this out. I wish I could do it for her. Hey, there's cops in our neighborhood. What in the heck? Why are there cops in our neighborhood? That's weird.
Yeah, Timmy asked,
major aside, did you
main
feel the
website.
earthquake? Did you feel the earthquake, Kelly?
No, I didn't feel it at all. But I'm like 7.3. How do I not feel that? Even though it's all the way up in Eureka.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit off the coast. And then it was crazy because it was like all these tsunami warnings, my phone's going off, the things coming on the TV. Like we have all these. I was like, what? And then they did call it off. So
I called my parents who live in Santa Cruz and I was like, you guys okay? They didn't answer at home and I was freaking out. Someone announced in the Black Olive chat. And my mom goes, your dad's freaking about to go down to the harbor. And I'm like, why are you such an idiot? He was on the news during the last one because he went to tie down his sailboat and it showed my dad on the like dock going like this. And he's like, don't tell my wife. And then it shows up on the news.
Oh my gosh.
Cop too, like former cop. I'm like, you're an idiot. Go away.
Right. You're like, come on. I can't help you out.
Like, I've been through this. I'm good.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
totally gotten us. I should probably stop the recording at this point. We can.
That like all the time.
Okay, I had stopped the recording and then we were saying some good stuff. So Jen was asking a question and Tammy was answering. So Jen, can you re-ask your question?
So my question is that we've been taught with hyaluronic acid that once we put it on our skin, we want to always have moisturizer on top so it draws in the hydration for and locks it in from the moisturizer. And with Olive Rose, it has the hyaluron in it as well. So I didn't know if it would make sense to use a toner to help draw in the moisture and lock it in versus the environmental effects and the moisture in the air.
Yeah, definitely. Because your toner is going to balance the skin. That's your pH balancer. And when your pH, your acidic alkalinic levels of that waterproof layer of the skin are balanced, then you're in good shape. But you also need to always have that internal. And that's what sets this company apart, is that you have the hydroxytyrosol internals. So the analogy is like a mattress. So your skin is a mattress. Yeah, it's the largest organ of the body, but it's a unique organ. It's not just any organ. And it tends to get kind of the short end of the stick because your cardiovascular and lymphatic and your pulmonary systems are a little bit more bossy. So the skin relies on a bit of a system. And so when we have hydroxytyrosol inside and we have some of these other ingredients inside and we eat where our gut is healthy, then that hyaluronic acid, the hyaluron molecule, everything that like pulls 400 to 1,000 times its molecular weight of water to the area and tends to kind of dehydrate areas where else and you're like, why do I look like a kitchen apple? Which when you feed yourself inside with the right stuff and you do the tonic and the spray and you're putting the olive rose on top of skin that is already ready to go because of your morning and your evening routine, then you're going to be in good shape. And it's not a molecule that's going to be detrimental. It's actually going to just further enhance what you're already doing to the skin. Another thing too that I tell my clients and has been pretty eye-opening for them recently, because I think everybody got into the I can only get good skin if I show up at a professional place. Well, instead it's actually a professional can guide you, but 80% of what you do is home care. That's where the results are. And the 20% is where we take it to the next level, or we do things you can't do at home or that are more dangerous, or you just need to be guided, or sometimes you just need to be pampered. I mean, whatever the reason is, there's so much that we rely on with good home care. And it's not just any home care too. It has to be well orchestrated with a savvy eye. So hope that helps.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Awesome.
So
Thank
we have the
you.
benefit of people like Tammy on our team who are professionals when it comes to skin. And then we also have practitioners who focus on gut health and, all aspects, because your skin and hair are not huge priorities for your body when it comes to health. They're going to pull from it. They're going to, you're going to be losing hair if the rest of your body is not healthy. Your hydration, like she said, internally is so important. So it's like, if you're not set in all different ways, it's going to pull it away from your skin, So yeah, it's truly beautiful. Skin is an expression of health. That's why we think it's so beautiful, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Gretchen, do you have a gut detox program that you recommend or that you have recommended in the past? I mean, aside from all of the good things that Oliveda and this whole program
I think
teaches.
there's some different ones out there. Microbiome Labs has a decent kit that you
Yeah.
can get via Full Script, where they have protocols that you can go over. So that focuses on it. I haven't done it, but I have so much respect for Lindsay at Designer Jeans Co. And she has she has a gut reset program too. I think it's called Redesign. I have a link for that too. That she utilizes many different things to help with that. So that can be good too. But I mean, it depends on the state of someone's health, right? Someone may need to work with a practitioner, and that's where, I have a lot of them in here, but I also have people that I refer people out to, but it just depends on how unwell someone is, right?
Yeah, any of those recommendations are helpful because I find that when somebody doesn't do well with the Oliveda products, the Ladope products, it's typically not the product, it's typically the person.
Yeah, and so one of my esthetician friends years ago, I did connect her with my contact at Microbiome Labs, and she got an
Mhm.
account with them as an esthetician, and she actually sold the gut reset kits on her back bar. So,
Okay.
yeah, she got some training to talk to them about it because she also found that that was a missing piece for those who just,
Mhm.
and then IO1, of course, you already know hydroxyhydrosol. That's a good level 1 thing for someone if they don't want to do a whole gut reset. That's going to help with it. But I mean, also you need to put in some good commensal bacteria too,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
Okay.
3-stage program. Yeah, I think. So yeah. Yeah. Look at you. I mean, Kelly and Aaron are holding on.
Love
But
it.
Good stuff.
it is a good stuff. I think I already did. Nope, I'm going to stop the